Welcome to No Small Roles. This is the show where I speak with fellow actors about their careers and about some of their smaller roles in big movies and TV, and how those roles were in fact not at all small for the actors who played them. Today's guest is my very first guest that I don't actually know.
Love it.
Scott Peat.
Hello.
Peat, right? I'm saying that right?
Like peat moss, the dirt.
Okay, but you're better than dirt. I've seen footage. You're
I'm
way
old
better
as dirt. I feel old as dirt now, right?
I think I'm older than you, so I feel older.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it goes. I mean, I moved out to Los Angeles in '97. I drove cross country from Indiana with my brother Matt, and it seems like it was yesterday, man. And now I'm like, I look around and I see kids that are, always on their freaking phones. I'm like,
we're the old people. Isn't it weird? We're the old people now.
Yeah, we're the get off my lawners.
Like, remember when you would think back to our age? I'm 52. Yeah. I'll say it.
I'm 50.
Okay, you're a youngster. You're a baby.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. But like thinking back to our age from when we were young, like,
yeah.
How old, dude? The 52 sounds ancient.
It's crazy because I remember I had a friend, Danny, and he was the bartender at the restaurant I was working at. Yeah. And I was 24 and he was 34. And I was like, damn, he's old.
34 is old. Isn't that crazy?
And we'd go hang out. I'm like, I'm hanging out with an old guy. It's crazy.
I remember Sharon Stone was like 35 when she did Basic Instinct. I'm like, that's an old lady. I can't watch this movie.
What wasn't Clint Eastwood like 41 when he did Dirty Harry in 72 or so? I think he was around that age. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's like 95 now, right?
What's that? Yeah, he's something like that. Yeah.
We're going to be there before you know it.
I know. I hope so. That's my objective.
Yeah, not before we know it, but we hope to survive.
Right. Yes.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to tell the audience that they very well may know you from NYPD Blue, The District, Monk, Call of Duty 3, the video game, Transformers, CSI, Days of Our Lives, in 3 different roles, as far as I understand, NCIS, Young Sheldon, Shameless, Baskets, Westworld, Henry Danger, Criminal Minds, the movie To Leslie, 911 Lone Star, The Morning Show, and many, many other credits. Check them out on IMDb because that seriously is maybe just half of them.
Yeah.
But you've done so much freaking work.
Yeah. I hope it comes back.
Yeah, me too. I hear you. It will.
I know. It will. I mean, I'm stupid enough to keep going, it's one of those things where as an actor, it's like I used to tell myself when I got my first big guest star role on NYPD Blue, I had like 4 scenes with Dennis Franz, and he was amazing. Such a nice guy. And I was like, if I can hang with him, an Emmy-winning actor, I'm going to keep going. And I live on that.
Well, that's the thing. And I'll get into that in a minute, but I love the excitement of you never know what's coming around the next turn. Like that keeps it exciting. I started maybe a little older. I was in production first.
Yeah.
So I think it's really the survival of the fittest.
Yeah. I remember, and stop me if you don't want me to just talk. I just remembered something. I remember I booked a commercial in 2005 with Tiger Woods for Accenture.
Okay.
And I was so excited. I was leaving for Florida the next day and I didn't have a care in the world. I'm like, this thing's going to air. I'm going to make, a lot of money. And then the day before I left, I had an audition for the movie Transformers.
Yeah.
And this was like in 2005. So that's when it was shot and it came out in like 2007, I believe. So I went into the office. I would not ever do this today. The girls that were doing the audition, they go, and it was such a serious Marine type role.
Yeah.
And everybody's going in there and the office must have just been bored as hell seeing all these actors come in and just do this dialogue that doesn't mean anything. So I went in and they go, do you have any questions, Scott? I go, in the scene, am I attracted to you? And they just looked at me and they just started laughing because I just like broke the ice. And I wouldn't do that today, but it was just like one of those things where, let me give these ladies a gift of laughter. If I can do that, that's a big thing sometimes at an audition. In the old days when he would go to auditions, now it's all, shoot at your home studio type of thing. But I miss going in because there was that connection to where, I mean, you could have common ground, you could talk to them. You were more of a human being rather than, click, don't watch this one. Or we found the the actor we want for the show on the third audition, so we don't need to watch the others. No, I don't know if that happens.
Yeah, I love self-taping. Like, I love it.
You know what? Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love self-taping. Yeah, I guess the good thing for me is I have the same casting offices that call me in over and over. So I'm like, okay,
that says something.
I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
So it's just wait it out, you know, just wait it out and stay positive if you can. That's a hard one, but you have to do it.
Yeah, everyone's beating themselves up. But before we continue, I have to ask you a very, very important question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Grilled cheese with or without tomato?
Without.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I go too. I prefer it without, but I'd take it with. Would you take it with?
I would, but I'm a fan of the tuna melt. I make my daughters tuna melts all the time.
I mean, that's good if you like tuna.
Yeah, if you like tuna.
Yeah. I'm not a tuna guy. I don't do fish. I'm a child. My wife and I don't eat fish, but
oh wow, okay, interesting.
It's all right. Okay, cool. So without, so you are from Indiana.
Yes.
You seem like a smart guy.
Thank you.
You have a mustache.
Yeah.
Why are you an actor?
I love it. I went to art school initially to become a painter. I went to a school in Indianapolis called Heron School of Art.
Okay.
I was a big fan of like Alexander Calder, just abstract art. You know, he's the guy that came up with the mobile, the staybile. Some people say bile, staybile. Anyway, and I was really good at just drawing and painting, and I would go out and do still lifes in the yard, drawing ladders or whatever's there. And then I was like, I want to be an artist. So I went to Heron School of Art, and I didn't love it. So I transferred to Ball State University, and I had to take an elective. And I was like, shit, I did some stuff in high school with choir. I was a singer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll just take this acting 101. And I took it. And I remember I did I think it was a James McClure Lone Star, the monologue, one of the monologues from that. I think that's the writer. And I just was like, whoa, I've got my classmates leaning forward and watching me and paying attention. And I wasn't myself. When I go, my wife works at a church, and every once in a while they don't ask me anymore, but they would come, can you read scripture? I don't do that. I get so nervous when I'm being myself.
I hear you.
But yeah, I just was on stage and I took an elective, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. I wish I didn't. So,
no, I mean, I think
you know what I mean.
You've done all right. No, but that's so cool. It's like you didn't even know it was there. It's not something you dreamed of doing before then. Yeah. And just by chance, it was like, whoa, this is in me.
Yeah. You know what? Not to get off subject. My brain is funny. I was sitting at a stoplight today, and I was thinking, you know, I wonder if I would have been a hell of a NASCAR driver. I'd never tried it. So can you imagine there's people in the grocery store, people all around us that didn't try something, and they never know if they had been good at, you know, a certain trade or a profession or boxing or whatever. I don't know why I just said that, but it was just.
No, you're right. But the people play it safe. We lived in Europe for a while, and I found like people are really great, but everyone's a doctor, everyone's a lawyer, everyone's like what they should be.
Yeah.
And there's not that dreamer mentality. So I think being an actor, we've embraced that dream. That means it's not at all practical as far as regularly making money.
Right.
But you got to pursue it. I mean, for me, it's the only thing I know how to do.
I know. Same here. Yeah, same here.
You could have been a race car driver.
I could have been. I got the mustache already.
It's not too late.
No, it's not too late. Let me see if I can get more light in here.
Okay. So from there, it ignited the spark, and then you're like, I need to go to LA or what?
Yeah. Like, I'm going to move to Los Angeles and try it out. I was an intern at a casting office called Pemrick Frank Casting. They are still around. Great.
Are they TV, film, or commercials?
They're mostly like they're movies. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And they're still going, man. They're good guys. They've probably put me in 2 things, maybe I would say. They put me in something that was on Sci-Fi Channel. I forget what it was called. Sandman. It was called Sandman. Okay. It was actually not terrible. It was actually really good.
What were you? What'd you play?
I played a guy that confronted this girl that had these powers that could make the Sandman appear and kill you. So I just confronted her a couple of times in the movie, and then Hilary Duff's sister, Haley Duff, I think's her name. She was the lead actress in it. Tells me whatever, and then the little girl doesn't like me, and the Sandman appears in my kitchen and then in my car, and it's a gruesome death.
You got. Oh, I'm so. See, okay, we're gonna get more into this, but looking at your career, I am so jealous and envious of the stuff you get to do. I am like always a guy.
I die a lot. I did a movie called Into the Ashes that was directed by Aaron Harvey, had Frank Grillo, Robert Taylor, Luke Grimes, Brady Smith, and some other people in it. Anyway, Luke Grimes got to shoot me, so it was pretty cool. And I'll tell you, go ahead.
Bloody death. It was like good and bloody, like blood packs.
Yeah. He shot me with a shotgun, and I was wearing a squib.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Have you ever been squibbed?
No.
It hurts.
I'm so jealous. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want one.
I remember one of the takes. We did 3 takes. The first take they used, obviously, but on the second take, the guy outside with the squib control was watching for Luke to go like that, and that was his. It'd be Luke, squib guy, me.
Yeah.
Now he saw Luke go like this, but the director yelled cut, and he didn't hear. And I was just relaxed, and he squibbed that went off. Oh, no. And if you're not flexing, it hurts.
Yes. Was it like someone slaps you real hard in the chest, or like a hammer? Or what's it feel like?
I would equate it to like if you're working out with those band resistance thingies, and one breaks and like hits you somewhere bad.
Okay.
That's what it feels like.
I'm sorry.
No,
I booked a movie last summer or in the fall or whatever, and it said in the script he gets shot in the head with a shotgun by his wife. I'm like, yes, I'm going to be murdered on set. And it came to the day, and they're like, yeah, we can't afford it. We're going to do it off screen and just show blood in his face. Man. I'm like, no, I want to die.
The Reservoir Dogged you.
Oh, it was
camera
so
yeah. Wow. That's
so
funny.
Later on in the show, we're going to get to this segment, as you know, called, wait, hold on 1 second. I got to find it. It's called Today's Kiss and Tell. Now, in one word or a couple of words, can you tease what your kiss and tell will be? Got to get my pen?
Yeah. I want to go get my charger because I'm watching my computer. It's at 87%. I didn't know that.
Next time I hit a clip.
That's a great idea. Okay. Yeah. So it'll take me 60 seconds. Kiss and tell. I've got the story, but I don't know the log line to it.
Just a word.
Booth seating.
Booth seating. Okay. Seating booth. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna because you talked about NYPD Blue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show a clip.
Great experience.
And that can be your chance to escape. Here comes NYPD Blue. Go.
I must have been drugged because I woke up 5 hours later, this bloody thing's in my hand, and Forrest was dead on the floor.
Where was Justin?
Gone. I must have been drugged.
You sure it wasn't more of a blackout scenario? Like you did something and don't remember it, or you just put it out of your head because you don't want to?
I think I was drugged, like roofied.
All right, Randy, we know about Justin, and there's no way that you went to Richard Forrest's house expecting girls.
That's what he said.
We also know a little about you, and we think it's possible that you were partying with Richard and he wanted to do things that you weren't comfortable with, and you got upset.
No. I mean, oh my God. Maybe I did do it. I mean, if the guy came on to me, I would have kicked his ass.
Now that scene, it's quite long, so I had to trim it down just so it didn't go on too long. But you're great. You're really good, really believable. And from my understanding, this came on, and from what you were just saying earlier, really early in your career in LA.
I'm breathing hard because I ran.
No, I hear you. I went to get water earlier, and I came back.
I was 29 in that.
29? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the casting director's name is Scott Gankinger.
Okay.
Really nice guy. He also cast me in Over There, another Bochco series. But I remember the audition. I'll catch my breath. I remember the audition, and I remember sitting there, and the actor from the show Home Improvement that was what's his name? Tim something.
Allen, Tim Allen?
Yeah, that played his son was auditioning for that part that you just showed.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm thinking, he won't get it because he's a child actor. And the other child actor in the scene is the guy from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Mark Paul. And I'm like, they won't do that. They're not going to put two child actors in the scene together. And they didn't. But I felt like I earned it. It was a great audition. And I just remember when I got those sides, I was like, oh, cool. I can show some emotion. This is perfect. And if I'm able to do that, I'm going to be in the conversation. I might not get the job, but I know that that's a strong suit of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So before you did this, I saw that you did X-Files. Was that like was that a featured extra or? Okay.
Here's the story on that. I was doing extra work to get my SAG card.
Okay.
And this is funny, actually. Who created that again?
X-Files?
Yeah. Gilliam, or what's his name?
I don't know.
Shane. Oh, darn it. Anyway, so I did that and I had dialogue. We're not mic'd, but there's a helicopter shot over us. And I'm like,
I tried to find you. I'm like, but they all look alike and they're
I'm like, you know what? This is I'm doing some acting here. This was years later. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put it on my resume now. And then I ran into the creator of that show 2 years ago at a screening.
Yeah.
And we were just talking. I didn't know he created the show. I knew that he created Breaking Bad.
Okay. And Bryan Cranston
was the guy in the bar. So we were talking about Bryan Cranston, and I said, you know, my Bryan Cranston story. And I started telling him about the story about the X-Files. And he said, you know, I wrote that episode. And I was like,
Gilligan? What's his name? Vince
Gilligan.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Gilligan. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a small world, but sometimes you gotta lie a little on your resume. I mean,
no, of course.
It was a lie, but it wasn't a lie. I was there. I was yelling. I was doing acting. They didn't hire me for that, but sometimes you just got to put that on there.
And I wasn't trying to call you out either. Just
no,
so you know.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because when you're building a career too, you're like, I was on set. You want to show you're professional. You know how to be in a scene, and obviously you're doing all this action. And
I remember one of my first extra roles. It was on that show ER, and Noah Wiley asked me a question, and I answered the question, and they yelled cut. And one of the grips said, "Get him his SAG card."
Like, all right, yes.
Yeah.
Please do.
So, yeah.
I did I did stand-in work on That's My Bush. It was about George.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's how I got my SAG card.
Yeah. Well, I got in. I was Matthew McConaughey's stand-in on Ed TV. And then Woody Harrelson's on Ed TV also. And then I was Josh Hartnett's stand-in on Halloween H2O.
No way.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was just doing extra work and they came up to me like, how tall are you? I'm like, I said 6'3" for Hartnett because I knew he was 6'3". Woody Harrelson is like 6'1". I'm almost 6'3", so I said 6'1". So, and I stood with my legs apart, so I was a little bit shorter.
That was a pay bump though, right? From
Yeah. And Ron Howard on that Ed TV, man, that guy he feeds a crew really well. That's
good. He's a nice guy too, I assume.
Yeah.
Reputation.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to NYPD Blue, between this X-Files experience and the stand-in jobs, how did you get to that point? Because I think you had maybe a couple of smaller roles before it, but it's sort of a leap, it sounds like, to a guest star like this.
Yeah. I did. I guess my first guest star was on a show called Malibu, California. It was it was terrible. It was a kid's show on Saturday morning. And then I was just auditioning. I had a manager that she was getting me out, and she got me this big audition for NYPD Blue. And I went in there and sorry, I'm going to shut this down.
Oh, no worries. No worries at all. Hey, you went in there and knocked it out of the park.
You have kids, you know.
No, I did. No worries at all, too. It wasn't even bad.
No, I'm sorry. I guess it keeps it more spontaneous. So, yeah, it was quite a big jump because I was just auditioning for, here's your pizza, sir, or lines like that. And I'll tell you what.
It's like to book, which you're like, oh, that's $1,000 to say that? Sure.
Those are the hardest things to book because you get nervous when you're saying one stupid line.
Totally.
When you have a scene, it's like, okay, I have a place to go,
Well,
So
like you said, like when you were in choir or whatever, or no, when you were on stage, and if you had to do scripture or whatever,
right.
you get nervous because you're yourself reading it, and when you do one line, you're not really delving into a character, so it puts you more on the spot and kind of exposes you. But when you can bury yourself in a character, it's so much more fun and interesting, and in a sense easier.
Yes. So it is easier. It's easy once you get the job for like a guest star or a bigger role. It's the audition process can be hard. You have to learn how to talk yourself off the ledge. And I learned how to do that. I learned how to calm my nerves before big auditions.
How do you do it?
I slow everything down.
Okay.
I just talk.
Breathe in, or just
I talk slower. How are you today? How's your day going?
I
like your bracelet.
Thank you.
Whatever, and then once we realize that I'm a human being, you are as well, it's almost like they might be on your side. They're rooting for you.
Sure.
So you want to make them proud in a way. You want to do well. And I don't know, it works for me. Might not work for others.
No, that's good, because that is a question that comes up usually later. What kind of focus do you have? But
I'll tell you another thing. And
yeah.
Another thing is, I used to get nervous when I would hear the doorknob of the actor come out of the room. It was like Pavlov's dog, like oh my God, my heart's racing now. So before auditions, before I would when I would rehearse at home, I would have my wife jiggle the doorknob.
Oh, wow.
Right before I do my dialogue. And it's just, I don't know, I kind of retrained my brain a little bit,
That's a great idea. I mean, it doesn't really come into play anymore.
No. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, because going in person, you'd have like the waiting room. There's a lot of people nervous, a lot of people chatting. There's nowhere to hide to run your lines.
Yeah.
And so I found it so distracting, so hard to focus when I had an audition in person.
Yeah.
So my booking rate's gone up.
That's good. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I love self tapes. I really do. I just wish I'd work more, but I'm working enough.
No, well, and the business is in a very weird place. So we will work more.
Yes.
Now it's just bad. And it's not you, it's not me, it's not our friends.
No.
We're all in it together.
Yes, exactly.
So from this opportunity on NYPD Blue, which sounded like a huge opportunity, were you like, oh, this is it? I'm launching from here. What's next? And did you feel that came? And what did this do for you? This opportunity?
Yeah, I thought it would do more. I have a story about that in a second. Also, not that, but something that I thought was going to launch. But it did get me that show over there. That was a military show that Stephen Bochco produced on and created. I believe he created it. And I did like 2 or 3 episodes of that.
That's amazing.
And that was awesome. And then I did like The District. Got me that. I didn't.
Tops, what are you playing generally in these other roles?
I was a soldier, and then The District, I was like a truck driver that had all of his merchandise stolen. Okay. I was younger then, obviously. Now I have the mustache. I kind of set myself up for playing the rednecks and that kind of thing.
I want to ask about the mustache. I know this came later. Is that a choice? And I like it. But is it like, I'm going to grow a mustache to book these roles? Or you're like, I want to have a mustache? No,
I don't want a mustache. I have it for the character roles, So I don't feel I can compete anymore with the better looking version of me that goes for these certain parts that I'm going out for. So I may as well, pivot and try to play someone opposing that they're going up against in these episodes or something like that.
And does your wife like the mustache?
No.
Oh no. Is that a problem? Or is she like, okay, brings in money?
She knows. She's cool with it. I shaved it about 4 months ago, and then my youngest daughter was like, you have to grow it back. So I did.
Was she like, I miss my dad?
Yeah. Yeah. I do look younger without it though.
I'm kind of jealous. I mean, maybe because the stuff you play, if I grow a mustache, am I going to get more interesting, fun roles?
Yeah, do it.
I should do it. I don't know if my
wife
will.
Try it.
I'll see if she lets me. But she's all for the idea of me making more money. So
yeah. I am too. If you grow a mustache, I'll support that.
Though there's not a lot of cowboy shows and stuff like that out east here in New York.
Right.
So it might not. I'm always like the lawyer, the doctor.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so you did these roles, and did you find that you had momentum, or was it kind of like, okay, next I'm auditioning, but I'm not quite? Is it happening the way you wanted it to go?
Well, what happened was I started booking commercials. And then for about a 7-year span, I didn't even audition for a theatrical or a movie or TV show because I was booking 6 commercials a year, you know, and that was back in the 6-figure days.
That's amazing.
And then I started wanting to do film and television again. So I got a manager, and I'm still with him.
Yeah,
Both of them. And then I've probably been with them for 12 years. So 2013 is when I got back into theatrical work.
and from what I see in 2015, kind of looking through your IMDb, from 2015 on, it seems that you have been crazy solid. Not to say there was any huge lag anywhere, but 2015 on,
Yeah,
a ton of really great stuff.
yes, yeah. The NCIS was a fun one. Mark Harmon, he was a great guy. That was a fun show. That was like 2015 or 2016, I think.
I don't think I have that. Shoot.
No, that's okay.
You had so much I couldn't catch up to you. I do want to show, because we did talk about it earlier, the Transformers role. So was that, I know this came in a bit earlier, but was that one of those things where people back home in Indiana are like, oh my God, I saw you in Transformers?
Yeah, probably. I would say so. That was fun. Michael Bay was, you know, everyone was afraid of him, but I grew up with coaches yelling at me, so I'm not afraid of whatever. He was nice. I liked him, actually. I have nothing bad to say. But when we were shooting that scene, he kept changing the dialogue. So the camera would be, when it's on you, you say your dialogue. When it's off you, you're memorizing your next line. And then when the camera comes back, you say your line. And then when it's off, you're like, that's how that scene was shot.
It helps though, because one of the other guys says one line that you repeat after he says it. So it's sort of like nice of him to be like, say this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it. Let's
Oh, you have it. Cool. Young.
Someone! They're hacking into Air Force One. We need a senior analyst.
I think they're planning a virus.
A virus. It's streaming right now.
They are planting a virus and stealing a whole lot of data from your system at the same time.
Code Red, we have a breach.
Air Force One, someone on board has breached the military network.
I'm in the cargo hold.
You gotta cut the hard lines.
What?
Whatever they want, they are getting it.
Sir?
Permission to take down the defense network.
Cut all server hard lines now.
Cut all server hard lines now.
That was nice of him to give you that line there.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So did you have a crush on that character? Because, you know, I know you asked that in the audition. So did you feel that you incorporated that into your performance that day?
I never thought of it that way because I didn't know who I was going to do the scene with. It was that gal, Rachel. I forget her name. She was really nice. No. I just said that at the audition as a joke. You know?
Do you think that helped you though? Do you think that helped you book it? Like, oh, he's funny.
I think so because every guy that walked into the room was so serious.
Yeah.
And sometimes the casting is just like ready for a laugh.
And
I was in the waiting room. I was looking around the waiting room like, these are some big dudes in here, muscular dudes, and they're very serious and they're practicing these 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't practice those 3 lines. I'm like, I just booked a Tiger Woods commercial. I didn't really care. And I didn't know what movie it was for. They didn't tell you what movie it was for.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you had no idea it was on Michael Bay?
No. So, no, it's one of those things where, I don't know, I'm kind of a goofball and the ladies needed a laugh. And sometimes I can do that.
Did you basically go in the room though? Like, oh, those guys in the hallway, they have it. Like, it's not my role.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I talk myself out of it all the time. I'm like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
And those are the ones we book.
Right.
So you also went on you did Monk in between.
Right. Yeah. I had Monk with Ted Levine, I forget how to say his last name. He was put the lotion in the bucket. That guy from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little different in Monk.
Right.
But here's
How long has he been up there?
10 days.
He'll be down soon. The judge will be ordering an eviction notice by tomorrow morning.
But you have huge guest stars. You'll do these, like, was that a co-star?
That was a co-star.
But you're doing, I mean, you're taking jobs. You're doing what you can book and going with the flow, which I kind of do. I do the same thing. You take what you can get when you can get it. And
well, you know, I'll tell you what. When I did 911 Lone Star, it was for one episode, and it was basically sort of it was a guest star, but they turned it into 5.
So you never know.
You don't. So take the job and be happy and don't complain on set.
And they probably were like, this guy's cool. He's good to work with. He's got a great look. Let's write him in there some more.
Yeah, I tell actors, show up and shut up.
Yeah. And be good. Yeah, just be good. Just be decent.
Yeah, be cool, man. Be easy. Be easy.
Do your exactly. I say that too. Okay, so you've gone on. So 2015, you kind of come back, or what you said 2013, back from doing a lot of commercials, which those are very good problems to have, that you're doing a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
Especially then. So then you start booking like a madman. Your reps must love you. So you're doing, I mean, some of them are Shameless?
Yeah, that was a fun one. Regina King directed that episode.
Oh, really?
I got a story for that audition.
Tell it.
So I went in to audition for it, and it was a big room, and we were on the Warner Brothers lot.
Okay.
And Regina King was in the room. I didn't know she was going to be there. I didn't know she was directing the episode. Went in, there's like 15 people. I've never seen this many people at an audition for a guest star. And I go in the room, and Regina's there, and I said, Regina, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at Paris Barclay's house. I was on the show Pitch for 5 episodes, and she remembered me. She's like, oh yeah. And we just, said, how you doing? How you been? Blah, blah. And I did my audition, and it went great. And I left. And then someone in the office, she chases me down, and she says, they want to see you again. And I'm like, I'm in like a 30-minute parking spot. So I rushed back in. I went in the room, and I said, Regina, I don't know if you remember, but I met you at Paris Barclay's Christmas party. And then she just started cracking up. I just did the same thing because I was,
that's so funny.
Yeah, and I started laughing too. I was just messing around with them all. So
and that probably didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt because it shows them that you're relaxed, which I always am now. But you know how tense that can be.
Of course. No, it's so unnatural, the whole experience of auditioning and all that.
Yeah.
So you just make the best of it, and again, act like a human as you would a friend or someone.
Right. Yeah.
Let's look at so he booked it, everybody.
Yeah. Strong arm, Bart. Where's the family? Your wife is a knockout. Else you could be cousins with my wife.
Oh, that runs in the family too.
I thought you might have been dead, but happy to see that you're alive and talking. Can't say the same for Barry. What's the matter with him?
Oh, mute, never could talk, but he nods when he understands you, right, Barry?
You're the one that got out, Barty. You won.
Now you play a lot of, I mean, and I don't know where you stand politically, and no judgment, but a lot of, white supremacists, MAGA people, not to say they're the same thing. And is that fun, or do you find that difficult? Or you're like, they would rather have me on set?
No, it's, I mean, where I'm from, and a lot of my friends, it's like they're just good old boys and without judgment. And that's kind of a lot what I think I play. Of course, if you look at the Western, obviously I'm playing, a racist dude there. But no, it's just I'm playing people of my past,
Yeah. And you have to empathize with the characters you play. You have to find the good in them if they're not necessarily good. Not to say this guy arm wrestling's not a good guy.
Yeah.
But the guy doing the branding and the 911.
Oh yeah, no, that was a bad guy. Yeah, for sure.
A good guy.
100%.
But you mentioned the Western. Is that the Walter Hill movie?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I've not seen it.
No, it's it was amazing. Yeah, I was in New Mexico for 6 weeks riding horses and eating good food on set and hanging out with the stunt guys, and Christoph Waltz was very nice. I became friends with Benjamin Bratt on that. Nice guy. I remember at the screening of that, Willem Dafoe was there because he was in the movie.
Yeah.
And my wife was with me at the screening, and I said, Willem Dafoe. I mean, you probably don't say first and last name, right?
Maybe not.
It's Willem Dafoe. It's like, you can't just say Tom. You gotta say Tom Cruise. But
yeah, you're right. Willem.
I said, Willem Dafoe, I'm in the movie. And he goes, I know.
What?
You're really good. But it was just one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He does know. He's already probably seen it. Cutter.
A few times.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, but like Walter Hill, he did 48 Hours, Extreme Prejudice, like a million other movies. Last Man Standing, maybe? I don't know.
He did all the second unit footage of Bullet. All the driving with Steve McQueen. That was him.
Oh, wow.
He directed all of that stuff.
What was it like working with someone that's been in it forever, is considered a legend? The Long Riders, another great one.
Yeah, Long Riders. It was amazing. He was such a nice, humble person.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I remember he was shooting a scene that I wasn't in, and he was standing here and I was standing right behind him, and he turns around and almost bumps into me. But I think I was just trying to watch what he was doing. I was just trying to learn from him, without asking questions, just kind of like seeing how he works. And he kind of looks at me and he kind of gave me a little smile, like, cool. Like, this guy's learning on the job, because that's what I want to do.
He understood that you were observing him.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
I haven't seen this movie. I need to see this movie.
Yeah.
And do you die?
Maybe.
You can give it. Come on, a spoiler.
Of course I die. Look at me.
All right. Is it a good one?
Oh, it's a great one. Yeah.
Do you fall off a horse?
No, but I jumped off a horse in the movie. And before we shot that scene, Walter yells, "Scott, you want a rehearsal?" And I said, "No, just shoot it, because I'm not going to rehearse jumping off a horse. Because I could get hurt. So I'm like, let's just shoot. Let's see what happens."
What's your wife think of this? Is she like, yeah, go jump off a horse, honey?
She's like, be careful. I got a lot of back injuries from my basketball days and that kind of thing. But I'll do anything if it's blocked out. I'll take a fall. I did a Burger King commercial where I jumped down this 20-foot trash chute, and as long as the stunt guy believes in me, I believe in me.
Okay. I believe in you. No, yeah. I'm sure you could do it. I can't wait. I have to watch you get shot in something.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of clips.
Into the Ashes is a really good movie.
Okay. And what is, that's when you get killed in. What is Into the Ashes? I haven't seen it. I don't have clips of it.
It's basically a revenge story.
Okay.
It's about the past catching up to a certain character played by Luke Grimes.
And this is the one with Frank Grillo?
Frank Grillo, yeah.
Okay. I have a friend, one of the second guy or maybe third person I interviewed, he worked with Frank Grillo in something else. And he said he's kind of an intense dude and kind of commands the set, and you got to find your way around that. Did you find that?
No, he was awesome. I liked him. Yeah, he's definitely intense. But, as a guest star actor going in, a lot of times you just got to learn to let go of the reins and just follow the horse,
Okay.
I remember we did, he was wrapped, and it was a movie that took place in the 90s, and he's giving me his dialogue, and I'm looking at him, the camera's on me, but while he's giving me his dialogue, he was looking at his cell phone, and it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. And so I said, "Hey, Frank, I know you're wrapped. If you have to go, you can go." But I meant it. So then a couple weeks later, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, damn, did he think I was like saying, get off your phone? Because I wasn't.
Oh,
I was just saying, dude, go. I can act with the tennis ball. That's what I was saying. You know what I mean? But
so you yelled at Frank Grillo. Grillo, what's
that?
You yelled at him.
Yeah, I yelled at him.
I think we actually have a special guest here for a second.
Uh-oh.
Look who's here.
There he is. What's up, Bill?
We can't hear you, Bill. You're muted. Oh, wait, can I unmute you? There we go.
I was just seeing how it was going. You don't have to add me.
Well, everyone, this is Bill.
Yeah, I can't believe you added me.
And the Ejectables.
How's it going, Scott?
Good, man. How are you?
How's it going?
It's going great.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just telling my Frank Grillo story where I accidentally 2 weeks later realized I may have taken something the wrong way, but I doubt he did.
I heard he's a really fine guy.
He's super. I liked him a lot. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off. All right.
It's good to see you, Bill.
Thanks.
Good seeing you, buddy.
Everyone say bye to Bill.
Bye.
That was good to see Bill. Okay, so you've done all these projects. You get shot all the time. Now, I guess I'll come more. How long have we been on? I don't want to keep you forever.
You're good. I got my charger now, man.
You've done. Oh, I want to ask you. So I've worked for Nickelodeon shows.
Oh,
I worked in production. I worked. One of my very first production job was on a show Dan Schneider was producing.
Okay.
Called Guys Like Us. From there, we got along really well. He invited me to be a PA on All That and the Amanda Show. Now I see you also worked with Dan Schneider, I believe.
Now, was it Thundermans or was it Henry Danger?
Henry Danger's the one I have a clip of.
Okay.
I'm gonna
that audition. You want to hear that?
Yeah, tell me.
So it was obviously one of those things where it was very big acting style because it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
And I was in the mood of just like, I was in a mood. And so I was just sitting in the chair in the office waiting to go in. And the actor that went in before me, I was listening to his audition, which I hate doing.
Yeah.
But he was so loud and so big. And I'm like, I got to go bigger than that. I have to go bigger than that. So I went as big as I've ever gone. And at the end of the audition, I just looked at the casting ladies and I go, that was weird. And then I left and I got it. But I knew that I had to go bigger because it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
And I had to be grounded. I had to believe that I was a mermaid for the day. That wasn't the episode, but I'm just making an example of like, I had to believe something that was so far-fetched. So I just went for it.
Now, can you tell everyone what you played this on Henry Danger? Did you play this one specific character repeatedly?
I did it 3 times. I was really hoping they'd call me in more, as is the case, but they were awesome. They were great. But yeah, I played Hunter S. Thompson, the Bigfoot hunter.
That's good.
And one of the lines was, "This is S. Thompson, the hunter." It was pretty funny. That show is really well written. It's one of those things where I didn't know what I was auditioning for because I didn't watch it. But then after I did, my kids just loved the show.
Oh, I'm sure. They must have been like, "That's my dad on the show, jumping over."
Cooper Barnes was super nice, and Chase Norman. Everyone was great on that set.
Did you work with Dan Schneider?
I don't think he was there.
Okay.
Yeah. That was after all this whatever happened.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I never experienced anything myself.
No, me neither. Yeah.
Here is a clip of you in Henry Danger.
Internet troll S. Thompson.
Yeah. I'm sick of people telling me that Bigfoot isn't real. Because Bigfoot is real. And I'm gonna catch him. And no one's gonna laugh at me anymore.
Well, local jerk Mitch Bilski won't laugh at you because he saw Bigfoot tonight. In the woods.
Tonight?
In the woods.
You could play anything.
I'll tell you what. When I rolled off that desk, before we shot that, I told the stunt guy, I said, "Hey, my back is out. It's hurting." And my back, it was going out a lot back then. Yeah. And so he put like a 4-foot pad under that desk. So it was very nice of them to do that.
That did the job?
Yes, it was perfect.
You jump off of horses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Bill told me, who is watching us, he told me I have to see the film To Leslie, which I've not seen. And he said it's amazing and that you do a great job in it. So can you tell me about that experience?
So I was the last actor to get cast in that. Arlie Day cast the movie. She's awesome. Yeah. And my friend got me the audition because he's good friends with Arlie. And so I auditioned for it and there was no callback. They just, this was in the early process of self-taping. So I think that was shot in December of 21, I believe. And they cut out one scene of mine, which is fine. I didn't need to be in there after I watched the movie.
It happens.
I remember after I did that scene with her that's not in the movie, I remember I called my mom and I said, "Mom, I might be in a movie that's going to be nominated for an Oscar." That's how good she was.
Wow.
I was just like, I sensed something, and she wasn't method or anything weird like that. And if you are, that's fine. I just won't talk to you, you know, on set. But yeah, she was like going back and forth from her Wales accent to the, you know, she was just, and who's the other gal in it? Allison Janney. She was nice. We did we did one of the scenes with her, and at the end of it, she looks at me and goes, "Was that good?" Like,
who am I to judge?
Yeah, of course it's good.
Wow.
It's just, so it just shows you that no matter what level you're on, it's the insecurities are always going to creep in, you know?
That's a good lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they don't creep in, then you don't belong there.
That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there any within your career, is there any specific moment you're like, wow, that was the greatest moment of my career, a moment that you truly cherish? That, well,
I'll be honest, the morning show was great. The morning show was pretty cool, and
it was recent, right?
Yeah, that was shot that in November of 22, and Mimi Leader directed it, and it was a scene with Reese Witherspoon, and she's interviewing me. I'm in prison. I just thought that someone would be feeding me the lines, but they were shooting her at the same time they were shooting me, and she was just in my ear, and we were having conversations in between takes about, you know, whatever, where you're from, you know, how many kids do you have, that kind of stuff. But I remember when we shot that 18 times, that scene, 18 times. And I remember when they said, Mimi said, let's see a rehearsal. And I never do anything at rehearsal. I just talk like I'm talking to you right now. I don't put anything into it, but I was like, you know what? I want to show them what I think should happen. So I just went all out, and I just started, you know, bawling.
Wow.
And I just felt the character. And then Mimi comes up to me and she leans down and she goes, "Can you do that every take?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay." And she walked away. And that was that. Yeah.
Let's play it.
Yeah.
And this is, again, trimmed down a little bit just for time.
No, perfect.
Here we go.
I lost my job. My family. They won't talk to me.
I want to just pause right there. The loss of your family. Do you feel like it was worth it?
What the hell do you think?
That's really damn good.
Thanks, man. That was a take where I took a break from crying when they used that one.
Really?
Yeah. But it works.
I mean, but still, you're bringing in the emotion.
Yeah. It's a different flavor. It's different.
Do you have any trouble bringing the tears? Can they come every time?
Sometimes I do when I'm doing the first audition at home. But when I'm on set, you know, I'm performing. If I can make the guy holding the boom mic believe me, then the person watching at home will believe me. So I'm not performing for anyone but the camera operator or the sound engineer. If they believe me, the people watching at home are going to believe me. So that's my objective.
That's a great note. Now, bringing me to that, is there any, and that sounds like advice, but do you have any specific advice, something you wish you had known before you got into the business or when you first got in the business? What nugget do you have for people beyond what you've given? Which is a lot.
It's just acting. Don't take it so serious. It doesn't define who you are. You know, try to find happiness with your spouse or your kids or your home or a hobby, and just don't beat yourself up.
Have a life outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good advice or.
No, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Especially now when things are so slow, you need to not take it too seriously or it will
for
eat
sure.
you alive.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk to you about one thing. I have a gripe with you.
Uh-oh.
You sent me your reel, and I was like, that's a good reel. He's good. He's really good. But then when I started researching, looking at your clips and stuff, I had no idea the scope of your career until I got into IMDb and started looking at these clips.
Oh, yeah.
Your reel does not show me that.
Well, I wonder how important a reel is anymore anyways.
I don't know.
Because a lot of times when your agent or manager is submitting you, they're not submitting that thing is.
It could be clips.
Yeah, they're sending clips now. And all the clips that you're showing, obviously I don't have some of the older ones up there, but like the morning show, things like that, the Henry Danger, they'll show that one to showcase, you know, if they're submitting me on a character that might be like the ones I played. Yeah. But thank you.
And I just want to say I'm still on the reel because I edited reels for a little bit. There are 3 montages in there.
I cut that one together, and I was just, you know what I was doing? I was just like, you know what? I'm going to pay tribute to what I've done, and I'm going to make this like a little mini movie. I'll put Born in the USA in there. You saw it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just one of those things where, you know, when you're sitting in your man cave or whatever, and you're drinking a glass of wine and you're reminiscing and you're cutting your reel, you kind of just are like, you know what? I'm going to show what I've done. And then at the end of it, you're like, yeah, I have done a lot. I should be a little more, I should be easier on myself sometimes, you know?
No, you've done a ton. I just want to see it. Though you said people don't see your reel, but I saw it and I thought it was decent, but damn.
Well, cut me one, man. Tell you what, cut me one.
I'm going to cut you one. All right.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, I'm doing it.
All right.
Now we talked about this segment earlier called Today's Kiss and Tell, which is brought to you by the Ejectables. And since Bill is here, it's also brought to you by Stump the Bill. Now, you said your 1 word in 2 words is seating booth for your teaser.
Yeah.
What's your story?
Okay. I'm not going to mention names.
Name. That's okay. Just one?
No names.
All right.
Because the person was a really nice guy. And I don't know if this was on him or this is just something that the PA does, because a lot of times when a guest star or a co-star gets on these shows, they might become a super fan of the lead actor or actress. Maybe I gave it away. Anyway, we were shooting a scene and I was sitting in a booth and we were getting ready to go shoot the scene over there. So I'm sitting in a booth with my stuff and they're like, okay, Scott, we're ready for you. So I went over there and we shot the either my coverage or the other person's coverage.
What was their name again that you said?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Weird. And then I went back to sit down where the camera's going to turn around and shoot my coverage or his coverage. I can't remember which one I shot first. And I went back to sit down and the person was sitting where I was sitting. So I'm like, well, I'll just sit here because this is where I was. And my water's right there. So I sat down and I talked to the guy for 17 seconds, probably.
Okay.
And then he got up and went somewhere to his trailer. And 60 seconds later, this PA comes up to me and was like, hey, Scott, when you see so-and-so sitting there, just don't talk to him. I was like, and so I was like, all right. I'm like, what did I thought we talked about? We didn't talk about anything. It was like a Seinfeld episode. We talked about nothing,
That's crappy.
Yeah, it was weird. So I did not talk to that person for the rest of the time. And I was on that show a lot.
And
so,
who was that person again?
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay, no, you don't have to.
I can't.
No, I forgive you. I'll forgive you in advance. Who is it? No, don't tell me.
No,
I don't want to get anyone in trouble. That is crappy, though. That's
Yeah.
not cool. Yeah, I would have been like, what did I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was on this show for another, I don't know, however long I was, another month. And
okay.
But they ended up talking to me. So that was cool.
And did you find that this person treated other people that way?
No, they look, they could have been having a bad day. Who knows?
Sure,
but
that's true.
It was weird when the PA came up to me and said that. So that got me thinking, okay, the PA is either doing their job or the person said something to the PA.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's better off you don't even know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think that wasn't a very good kiss and tell. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. And you told other stories as we got up there. Unless you want to tell another one.
What's that?
You have anything else you want to tell? No pressure.
I'll tell you what, I had a great time shooting that movie Dead Season. We shot that on the island of Vieques, just off the coast of Puerto Rico.
Is that like a zombie thing?
Yeah, we were there for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And I mean, the mosquitoes were insane. They were just bad. We were going to shoot this one scene on an abandoned boat that had been shipwrecked for 80 years.
Oh, wow.
And the locals on the island were saying, don't go on that boat. You could fall through.
And get tetanus.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, exactly. You could fall through. And so this was the first time as an actor where I put my foot down And the director's my friend. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm not shooting on that boat. And he's like, come on, Scott, you have to. The sun's going down. Like, we have to get this shot. And I'm like, no.
And production value, I bet it looked cool, but
yeah, it looked amazing. It looked amazing. But so they found a cave and we shot it the next day.
okay.
Yeah, it was fine. But you know,
You.
I made, you know, it's been sitting there for 80 years and no one had been on it.
Yeah, you had to protect yourself, know your value.
Yeah, it was like a cruise ship. It was just a nasty looking ship.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you survived, and then you shot in a cave, and the spider from Brady Bunch didn't bite you.
Right?
The
It did
tarantula?
not bite me. Yeah.
Okay, good. I want to wrap it up. Okay, we got your kiss and tell, your most cherished moment. Anything? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to share? Or, and I know it's a weird time, so
Yeah.
no pressure.
I did a horror movie called 213 Bones.
Okay.
It's coming out sometime. I'm gonna write a script with somebody coming up soon, and we're gonna try and get it produced and shot.
Anyone specific?
No, I don't want to. I can't say that either because they just approached me like 2 weeks ago. No, I really don't have anything coming up right now. I mean, just
I hear you.
I'm auditioning a lot, so that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you feel the momentum picking up a little bit more than it has been?
I thought it. No, I don't.
I feel like trickling back, but it's certainly
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think November was busy, and then it got slower, and I think February was busy, audition wise. But like I said, it's the same. Look, I'll tell you this: don't try to book the job, book the room.
Yeah,
Make
that's
them
great.
fans of yours, because then they'll call you back, and it's just a matter of time.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for doing this. It's a pleasure to meet you, and best to your family, your 3 daughters and wife. I'm a stalker, Tanya, right?
Yes. Good job.
IMDb tells me everything I need to know, but everyone check him out on IMDb. He's got a bazillion credits, and you're really freaking awesome in everything I've seen you in.
Thank
and I'm
you.
going to cut you a little reel.
Dude,
All right?
I love that.
Yeah, no.
Are we going to stay on and talk after this for a second?
Yeah. Stay on after I
Okay.
get rid of all them.
All right.
But stay tuned for a little song. And thank you, Scott Peat. Keep an eye out for him. And what, 213 bones? What'd you say it was?
213 bones.
213 bones. That's a lot of bones.
It's a
But I
lot
think
of
we have
bones.
more bones in our bodies.
Right.
Anyway,
Feel like
thank
we
you,
do.
Scott.